Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Today we are in the boat in the garage and we are going to be installing some new trolling motor batteries. My lead acid group 31 trolling motor batteries that I've had since I bought the boat, which are now about 3 years old, have finally started to die. How did I know this? Well, last time out, it was kind of a windy day, but not too crazy. And I noticed about 4 hours into my day fishing, my trolling motor just didn't have that much power. I was running it on full, 10 out of 10 speed, and it just wasn't really keeping up. I could tell something was wrong. So I got home that night and I pulled out the voltmeter and I tested the batteries, and one of them especially was down to it was reading like 10.1 volts, which basically, if you look that up, there's a voltage chart you can look up online for, lead acid batteries, and that's basically at zero. So I could tell something was wrong. So I charged them just to make sure that it wasn't just something that maybe they didn't charge all the way the last time. But sure enough, it barely charged to full capacity, and then within an hour or two, it was basically down to like 20% capacity. So I knew something was wrong. About 3 years is, I guess, what you'd expect out of a deep cycle lead battery for your trolling motors. So it was about time to replace them. So I did decide to go to a lithium battery. So I got two 12 volt 100 amp hour batteries, and I went with these right here. This is the lithium battery from LiTime. They're actually very affordable. They're about 250 bucks a piece, which price has really come down a lot from when lithium started to come out, and you still can find some more expensive ones, but I did a little research. These ones got pretty good reviews. No one really complaining too much about them. They come with a 10-year warranty. It's not sponsored or anything. I purchased these myself, but they seem to get pretty good reviews. So we're going to install them today. I'll walk you through the process. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but there's a little bit of steps you just want to follow at the beginning to make sure you charge them properly, make sure you balance the voltage across them properly before you start using them. So let's get started. We're going to take a look at the instructions and see what the first step is. Okay, here's one of our new batteries. I'll show you the unboxing of the other one just so you can see what it looks like coming out of the box. We got our instructions here. We're going to follow these exactly to get them started. Step 1, wear insulating gloves for protection before connecting. Okay, we are going to almost completely follow these instructions. Step 2, fully charge the batteries separately. Then we're going to connect them in parallel for 12 to 24 hours. So this is what balances the voltage across them. So basically you just want to charge them completely, independently, and then you want to connect them in parallel and let them sit. And that will kind of normalize the voltage across both of them. So first step then, I'm going to remove my old lead batteries from the bilge compartment of my boat. And then we're going to put the new batteries in, connect each one to my onboard charger, and let them just sit independently and let them charge. Here are my current lead deep cycle trolling motor batteries. These have been in the boat since I bought them. No problems really over the 3 years. It's just when they die, they die. So the last time out, I just obviously noticed there was a problem and they're just not fully charging anymore. So we're going to pull these out of here, disconnect everything. I'm going to take special note of what was connected where. You can kind of tell these leads are from the onboard charger. This lead goes up to the trolling motor, that goes up to the trolling motor, and then this wire here is what connects the two from positive to negative to create, the 12 volt plus 12 volt is 24 volt system. When we charge the new batteries, we are not going to be connecting this wire between them. Like I said, we're just going to do independently. We're going to charge each new battery. But let's get these out of here. This should be fun. They're about 70 pounds a piece, so let me get these disconnected and haul them out. All right, batteries are out. Nice clean bilge area here. I separated my onboard charging wires over there, and then I've got the positive and negative feed from the trolling motor pushed out of the back there. So one thing you will have to verify before doing this type of upgrade is you want to make sure your onboard charger supports lithium. So my onboard charger is this Naco Genius Gen Pro, and the best way to look, to verify this is to just look it up online, read the product page, This particular charger does support lithium. There's a mode button, if you can see. Let me get close enough. There's a mode button on each channel, and you just select by pressing the mode button which type of battery you're going to charge. So it goes lead acid, AGM, or lithium. So I'm going to select channel 2 and 3 over to lithium once I get it turned on. And then we will start charging these new batteries. So let me get them in here and get them connected. Okay, let's show you what's in these boxes. So come packed pretty nicely. You've got your instruction manual and documentation. And then they give you your post bolts separately here. These will get screwed into the top of the battery, positive and negative. Okay, so you got your battery here. They are exceptionally light compared to the lead acid version. I think these are maybe like 22 pounds compared to like 70 pounds for the other one. So there we go. Let's get these bad boys in the compartment. Oh, I almost forgot. Before we go any further, let's go ahead and download this battery app, which is pretty cool. It's got Bluetooth, so you can check the levels and health and all that from your phone. So let's go ahead and download that and get that set up. So actually the way these posts work, they come with these little protective caps on them. And then they give you a bolt with some washers, and you're going to screw this in, but you actually have to attach your wires first, and then this screws down on top. So it's a little different than the lead acid method. So I'm going to leave the bolt off. We're going to get the batteries in, and then we'll connect our onboard charger with our bolts. And they give you a couple extra washers depending on how thick your cable is, because you want to make sure you get good contact when you screw these down. So if you have a thin connector, you can add a washer. All right, I have both new lithium batteries in the compartment. I did add them both to my app as well. Once you download the app and you create your registration, you can choose add a product, and then you're going to scan the QR code in the top left of the battery. It's the one next to that Bluetooth symbol. There's another QR code on this side, and that one is actually just to download the instructions. So you want to make sure you scan that one with the Bluetooth symbol next to it. Okay, so let's get our onboard charger connected to each of these. We'll keep them independent again, and then we will switch the mode on our charger to lithium, and then we'll let these guys charge up. Alright, so here I am. I'm going to connect positive and negative from the onboard charger to this first battery. Given that this connector is pretty thin, I'm going to use this extra washer as a spacer between the bolt and this connection when I put it on top of here, just so that it makes a nice solid connection when I tighten the bolt down. So I'm going to go ahead and get all 4 of these connected, and then, like I said, we're going to go over to our onboard charger, or we're going to press that mode button to select both the second channel and the third channel over to lithium. Okay, I've got positive and negative on each lead from the onboard charger connected to my batteries. I plugged in the onboard charger, and I selected lithium on channel 2 and 3. Channel 1 is my starting battery and the battery for my electronics. So you can see there they are slowly charging. Lithium selected on 2 and 3. Now we just got to give it a little time. Okay, and as you can see here, I connected Bluetooth to one of the batteries just to verify it is charging. Estimated 4.9 hours to full charge. We're at 52% SoC's state of charge. So we're looking good. We'll give it 5 hours, check back. Okay, so it is the next day. The batteries have been on the onboard charger for about 12 hours. And I can tell that they are fully charged. One, by looking at my onboard charger there, it's showing all batteries are fully charged. And I can also check the app. My phone, I've got 2 batteries at 100% state of charge. So we are ready for the next step in our instructions. So the next step in our instructions here, we're going to connect the batteries in parallel and leave them for 12 to 24 hours. So this, I guess, is supposed to equalize the voltage across them. I don't really understand why it's necessary. If they're both at 100% right now, you'd figure they're equal, but I'm going to follow the instructions. So we're going to connect the two as instructed. So I'm going to pull them out and we'll get them set up here. For this next step, we're going to be connecting the positive to positive and negative to negative on these 2 batteries. I'm using these 2 pieces of wire that I made. This is 4 gauge wire. They recommend anything above 6 gauge for this capacity battery. So I've got 2 of these we're going to use. I've got my posts. So I'm going to go ahead and get these connected, and then we're just going to let them sit for about 24 hours. All right, and here we have our setup for the next 24 hours. Positive to positive, negative to negative in parallel. And we're just going to let them sit, and this is supposed to equalize that voltage across both of them to get them ready for your final installation. So once this is done in 24 hours, we'll come back and we'll be ready to put these back in the compartment and actually connect the trolling motor and connect them in series like we'll have them set up to use. I know this probably could have been done in the compartment too, but it's just easier to show you with them out, so I figured I'd pull them out. But all right, we'll be back in 24 hours. Well, it's the next day, and our batteries have been sitting connected like this for about 24 hours. So we are ready for the next step in the instructions. After sitting in parallel, we're ready to install them in series and use them. So I'm going to get these disconnected, and we're going to put them back in the battery compartment, and then we're going to connect them. It's going to go positive up to the trolling motor, and then negative from the trolling motor to the other one, and then we're going to connect the other 2 with the same wire we used from our other configuration with the lead acid batteries, so that they're going to be in series, and that's going to double the voltage to our 24 volts that we need to run our trolling motor. So let's go ahead and get those in, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so I have the batteries in the compartment, and I have them oriented so positive and negative from one battery's here, and then positive and negative is closest to the other battery on the other side. So the way this is going to work, they're going to be in series, and the positive from the trolling motor is going to come to one positive side here. The negative from the trolling motor is going to go to the other negative there. And then the 2 batteries are going to be connected with this wire, and that's going to be positive and negative. I'll probably go this way. Positive and negative here to connect the 2. This is the same small length of cable that my lead acid batteries were connected with. So I figure if that's what they put in there when they installed it, I'll just use the same one. No need to change that up. So once that's connected, then the last step is each charging cable. There's a positive and negative for each channel from my onboard charger. I'm going to connect each battery to that like we did when we did our initial charge, and that will be it. So the only difference, we got to pile on our connections and then put the bolt in. A little different than the lead acid battery posts, but hopefully that won't be too complicated. I will do that, and I will show you the final product. All right, here we have our completed installation. We've got both batteries connected to the onboard charger, and we've got the positive from the trolling motor on one of them and the negative from the trolling motor on the second battery. And then we have a jumper cable between the positive and negative on the other side, connecting the 2 batteries in series. So all of that is connected securely, and I have them strapped in again. And then if we check our app, I can see they are in series here, and it's showing total voltage 26.8 and 100 amp hours of capacity. So they are fully charged. Alright guys, so it's a couple days later. I just fished a full tournament this morning, actually, from 6 to 2. It wasn't a super crazy windy day. I wasn't spot locking a lot or anything, so I didn't like strain the trolling motor, I wouldn't say. But, you know, normal day of fishing, 8 hours. So I was curious what my battery levels were going to be, so I came out to test them. So here is, from the app, 89 and 90% capacity still on both batteries. So I would say you'll get, you know, probably what, four good fishing trips out of a full charge if you don't top them off. Definitely a lot more capacity than the old lead acid battery. So happy with the upgrade. It's an easy thing you can do. You know, there's a couple days involved because of the steps that I would recommend just following the instructions from the manufacturer. So a couple days of charging and equalizing and things like that, but overall super easy project, especially if you already have an onboard charger that supports lithium. If not, there's an extra expense involved for that, but again, it's not super difficult. So thanks for following along. Drop a comment if you have any questions. Catch you in the next one.